Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and we are back with more spreadsheet action. It's been a while since we did a tier list, and since the last tier list, not only has Knull Fever, sorry to the Norwegians or Swedish people out there, not only has Knull Fever taken over the game from the perspective of playing against him, but now he is a playable character. So we're diving in and seeing where all of the new characters from the Herald Thor update land, i.e. Thor with his new uniform, Loki with his new uniform, and tier 3, we've got Valkyrie new uniform and Awakening or Transcendence, and then we've got Knull as a brand new playable character. Those are the 4 that we're going to be focusing on today, but I've also highlighted a bunch of speed types, a couple of combat, or one combat type, and a couple of blast types that have also moved around, actually down the list. Now, really quick disclaimer, really quick rundown of the tier list. Of course, this is just my opinion. This is just how I play the game. I try to encapsulate all of the content, but in general, I give more value, more weight to game modes that give us more, i.e. more challenge and more rewards. Most of all, Marvel Future Fight tends to be a PvE game, so most of the content and most of the value of a character gets skewed towards PvE. If you're a PvP player, your tier list could look differently, and if you're just a different type of PvE player, or you just don't care for the same types of content, then your list could look absolutely different too. This is by no means the only way that you can play the game, and I just like to do these for fun and sort of have a discussion and open up a topic about, you know, who are some of the best characters in the game and why do you think so or why don't you think so. So here we go, let's jump into it and let's talk about Knull being right at the top of true gods, because what he does is just outstanding. He is, I would say, definitely a little bit worse for PvP than Sentry. Well, he's worse than Sentry for PvP. He may be worse than Silver Surfer out of the box for PvP as well. But in PvE, he dominates on a level that we have not ever seen before. He's able to do stage 99 without an obelisk. He can basically conquer the game without an obelisk or a CTP or an ISO 8 set, you know, on that level. He can't necessarily do, you know, 7 million ABX or whatever squad battle, but as far as world boss goes, he conquers that area of the game insanely well. It's like the pierce and the chain hit and his skills and everything is just bonkers damage. The accumulation, Knull is just way too good at that. Obviously, he's going to lose points for PvP, but like I said, the list is skewed a bit towards PvE because most of the game modes in Marvel Future Fight are PvE based, right? We only got a couple, we basically got 3 PvP game modes. We've got Danger Room Extreme, Timeline Battle, and Alliance Conquest. So yeah, not really sure how he's going to match up to these guys there, but in PvE, in Knull World Boss Legend, he is, you know, basically head and shoulders above almost everyone else. The other thing I wanted to mention actually very quickly before I continue talking about these characters, Knull is just like insanely good. There's just like nothing wrong. There's nothing bad to say about him. He's a little difficult to play, I guess. That's it. But the other thing is, I haven't crafted my cards yet. I'm not going to be crafting my cards until the end of February, the beginning of March. So I don't know if some of these characters may perform a lot better with a bit of pierce. You know, even 2 or 4% pierce could have a huge impact on some of these characters' values. Some people anecdotally think that chain hit damage synergizes very well with pierce, and that would be a bit, you know, non-coincidental. That would be a bit on the nose because a lot of characters lately have been coming out with a lot of chain hit damage. Chain hit damage has been added a lot recently to characters' kits that didn't have it, like Moon Knight's uniform, Venom's uniform, etc. But again, that's just anecdotal evidence. I don't have any hard facts to you know, back that up with, so take it for what it is. But yeah, you may hear from some other players that, man, I think Professor X should be way higher, but then you find out they have 6% pierce on their cards or whatever. So that does matter, and that should get taken into consideration as well. I may end up updating my tier list when I finally do put pierce on my cards. We'll have to wait and see. Then we've got Thor and Loki down here at the bottom of True Gods. Now, Thor and Loki can both do stage 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of, well, I don't know about 7, but they can both do, you know, mid-level stages of Knull pretty well. Most characters in the game, most tier 3 and Awakened characters in the game, fall within that range of like stage 1 to 3, stage 1 to 4, 2 to 5 kind of thing. There's only, you know, there's a much smaller number of characters who can really push past 5, past stage 6 to move on and to move up, especially if you're not giving them multiple supports. So Thor and Loki really come in at a really nice place because they can do all of that. And then on top of that, Thor is amazing for world boss, and he's got a pretty straightforward rotation. It can be a little bit difficult at times, but he's got a heal, he's got, you know, immunity, he's got guard hit, he's got iframe where he moves around. So he's got a lot of utility now, a lot of utility on his skills, and he can do ABX, he can do regular world boss, he can do a lot of content now that he basically wasn't doing before at all. Loki, on the other hand, the reason why I dropped Loki a couple spots in between Medusa is because he seems to be basically just Knull and World Boss. Knull and ABX, not even World Boss Ultimate. I wasn't really impressed with his World Boss Ultimate output compared to other characters that we've gotten recently. And given his, given his value in other game modes, you would expect his World Boss potential to be better, but it's really just not that good. And it really just comes down to him not having effect on his skills, right? He's got the all defense down, but that's basically, he's got the paralysis, I guess. He's got some buffs, but he's missing a lot of stuff here. He gets the buff on his tier 3, but he doesn't get accumulation. He doesn't get any of these other spicy buffs, spicy effects. So I do think his value, his stock is a little bit lower. Again, if you're a big-time ABX player, then Loki is definitely a better investment for you, so he might be higher on your tier list because of ABX specifically. He's definitely an ABX-focused character, but for one game mode only, I didn't think he was deserving of being above Thor. Also, Thor seems to be able to push higher against Knull, so that also gets taken into consideration. The last new character besides these three bad boys who all make their way into True Gods, which is very impressive for an update that featured, besides Knull, no new characters, is Valkyrie. Valkyrie's not as good as the rest in the sense that she can't make it into True Gods. She's not capping 7 million in ABX. A decent barometer there is like they've both got rages. Thor can hit 7 million on his Universal Day. Valkyrie can't hit 7 million. I mean, very few players can hit 7 million. The majority of players in sort of, your average play range are hitting like 5 to 5.5 million, which is still very good, and she's amazing support, but Valkyrie just doesn't have quite as much oomph as some of these other characters. Is it because she's transcended? Is it because of her skills? Is it the tracking? Is it the long animations? I don't know exactly what's making her just a little bit underneath these characters, but I feel like they could have gone a little bit further with her. I feel like some of the transcended characters lately have been so good. Like, you compare her to Moonstone, man, you can cancel like all of Moonstone's skills. Basically, the only skill for Valkyrie that you can really cancel, you can cancel Valhalla's Defender pretty early, and I guess you can cancel Warrior Rush, but you have to play out 4 and 5 kind of. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed with that, but she's still a very good character. I just feel like they held her back a little bit when they could have made her better, especially since she's kind of a paywall character, right? Like, Moonstone is just bonkers good compared to Valkyrie. Valkyrie's great, but Moonstone is just like on another level entirely. And so I really think they could have given Valkyrie just a little bit more to make her a little bit more competitive. Even with Moon Knight, I think Moon Knight still holds the cake for best combat transcended character, just standalone. So yeah, I'm a little bit down on Valkyrie compared to what we've seen lately from Awakened characters, transcended characters, but I still think she is very good. And then that's basically it for the new characters. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about these other characters here that I bolded and sort of moved around. We're going to start with this one here. This might land me in some hot water, but Jean Grey loses her spot in True Gods. I just don't think Jean Grey is a True God anymore. Again, her only value at this point in the game is PvP. She's really bad for squad battle. She's non-existent for ABX, non-existent for Danger Room Extreme. If you queue up to Danger Room Extreme, you don't want to see your teammate choose Jean Grey, because you know that they're not going to have any damage whatsoever. You can technically clear Knull with Jean Grey, but it's like saying you can technically ride to work on a tricycle. Yes, you can, but why would you when you could literally use any other form of travel, and you'd get there faster and with less headache and with more efficiency? So yeah, she's basically exclusively a timeline battle / Alliance Conquest character. Still very good for those two particular game modes. So again, if you're PvP focused, she's still like top 5. But with the way PvP works and with the way bans work, you really only need like 3 to 5 really good characters. And if Sentry is just dominating so much, if a level 55 Sentry, I've said this before, but if Sentry, not even fully built, can take down Jean Grey, he's really replaced her as what she was in the game 2 years ago. So yeah, I don't think she deserves to be in a True God position, because she basically brings nothing to the table except the PvP value. And really, we're leaning on just 2 skills at this point. We're leaning on 3 and 5. If 3 or 5 gets nerfed or taken down or removed or replaced or whatever, she falls hard into obscurity essentially. But yeah, I mean, she's still really good, but I'm just explaining why I had to move her down. Listen, I gotta use really spicy language for Jean Grey because she's got a lot of fans out there, so you gotta know why she's really not the juggernaut that she used to be at all. And then over here in the Godlight Speed category, we have just a ton of characters. Now, in my previous tier list for the last one that I did for like 6.5 or whatever, update 6.5, I did have Quicksilver, Black Widow. I think it was just Quicksilver and Black Widow over here in True Gods. Now, I moved them over for two reasons. You basically never see them in PvP. And although you can use them to clear Knull, and I was actually surprised at both of their productions in Knull, and especially Quicksilver with the ignore dodge, they're just better options. For example, Bullseye, although he's hard to play and he's squishy, can actually push higher stages than either Quicksilver or Black Widow. So his ability to go to a higher stage than them, coupled with the fact that he is the #1 option for speed villain, squad battle, and ABX, and he can hit 7 million ABX in 7 million ABX for speed villain. His value, he's almost like Luna Snow at this point, which is crazy, but it's kind of true. Now, we do have 2 days for Luna Snow and ABX, whereas we only have 1 day for Hawkeye, and or Bullseye, sorry, and he still needs Mystique support, but he's kind of getting there. And if you go and you look at the top scores for squad battle, again, it may not be something that you compete in, but you have to value it as a form of measuring characters' effectiveness. You see that people are using him and they're getting, 2.5, 3 million points, which is well over 1 million points more than I can get using only Dr. Octopus. Now, of course, you've got Luna Snow pushing like 10 million. So again, she's still better overall, and she still does more and has more weapons, whatever, but he's like the poor man's version of Luna Snow for male speed villains versus Luna Snow being for speed females and speed heroes. So yeah, he definitely deserves to be there. Spider-Gwen's over there, but none of them really, I think none of them really matter as true gods. Deadpool is there because of the 99 on Proxima, the 99 on Cull Obsidian, Corvus, super easy rotation, right? 3 and 4 and it's over, and you just mow through all of the content. And then Mystique is there because of just the super value, right? Support for DRX, support for World Boss Legend, damage, ABX, etc. But yeah, honestly, I think the speed types are speed and sort of to a lesser extent combat. Universals have been really like running house for like almost a year now, but I think speed is the one that's been the most neglected, and we've seen the most drop off of characters sort of shifting this way. And you can see here there's multiple speed characters that are either tier 3 or they are, we have 3 tier 3s over here. We have multiple awakened. Yeah, oh, by the way, Sif and Heimdall down here. Yeah, I'm not even talking about them. Yeah, they got an awakening. I know. It's not good. It's not good, guys. They're not good. They're still just Shadowline characters. They're just meme tier characters. You're really just investing in them for the jokes or because you love them, not because they're actually good. Last but not least, I moved Aries. He was at the bottom of Godlight. I moved him over to high utility. Yeah, he's a leadership for Knull. Yeah, not much to say about that. His damage is just not up there, and he's kind of difficult to play. He's got really long animations. And then I moved Weapon Hex down. She was just under Blue Dragon here in sort of the higher part of high utility. But as more content comes out where you can't rely on striker damage, you can't rely on one-shot cheesing and stuff like that, Knull is the first of it, but we're going to see more of it in the future, of course. Weapon Hex's value is going to continue to drop. It's going to keep dropping. On top of the fact that we're getting more and more characters. As we get more characters that are good for Knull, but let's, for example, use Knull and Sentry, they don't even need to use any strikers, but even if they do use strikers, they wouldn't use Weapon Hex. So not only as more content like Knull comes out, but also as more characters come out that can take on Knull, they have to be strong enough on their own to do Knull, which means that they just don't need to rely on strikers. And if you don't need to rely on strikers, then that's the whole shtick of Weapon Hex, is being a striker and doing the 100% fill the cup action. If that doesn't matter anymore, she just fades into obscurity. So I just wanted to sort of put her on notice there. That's how I feel about the character. Again, it's not necessarily how you feel about the character, but yeah. So let me know what you think of the list. I'm happy to see so many strong characters here. I am curious to see how things will shake out in 2021 regarding speed types and to a lesser extent combats. I still feel like they are the neglected class and have been for a long time, but there is a lot more parity and a lot more balance now between blasts and universals. I honestly think it goes from, you know, top to bottom here in terms of ranking. If you had to rank the 4 types, how would you do it? I would honestly go universal blast, combat, speed, and I would put speed at the bottom. So, and I think it sort of reflects here, although there are fewer blast types here than combats, I do feel that that's how it goes overall. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.